let's talk about making some bookmarks, which I happen to think is a great and very simple way to share gifts with someone you love who likes to read. And you can of course do all different kinds of bookmarks, but we're going to talk specifically about using pressed flowers and leaves. I have here some bookmark blanks I just bought in bulk, but you can of course just cut cardstock if you have it. And feel free to make bookmarks in any way you want. But all I'm going to do, I'm just using regular kind of like Mod Podge glue. And I'm just going to brush it onto my bookmark. I have a piece of wax paper here on the bottom so that nothing sticks. And obviously you don't need to cover the whole thing, but I seem to be. And then we're just going to put our... And you want a nice even coat. Could use a better brush than what I got here, perhaps. I kind of like the brush marks, but you don't, if you want something a little smoother, feel free to use that. And then once you've got it coated with your glue, you just want to put your pressed flowers on. These are pansies that I grew in my garden. And I just push it on there, tap it down, maybe 2 of them. In any old way, that you see, just like that. And then I brush a little more glue over the top. This will dry clear, of course. And just like that. And then of course you need to let it sit and dry for several hours, 4 hours. At least I would do this so that it has a day or so to dry. So I have here a bookmark that I did previously. You can see I just glued those pressed flowers on, and then I added a yarn braid for a tail. You can skip the tail if you don't feel like it, or do whatever you want. I just use bits of yarn I have left over from knitting projects, and I can show you quickly how to do a couple of different things to get that done. So again, I'm using blanks, postcard blanks that I purchased. So they already have the hole in them, but you could just use a hole punch if you're cutting it from cardstock. And again, this is just wool yarn, and you can cut it to any desired length that you want. I usually start with 3 pieces. I've got 3 strands of yarn there, and what I do is fold the yarn in half and put it through the hole. So it's just through the hole there, and then I just kind of use my fingers to just tie that on. And once it's tied on, you can do any number of things. You could just leave it like this if you want, so that it's just these little strands, and you can cut those shorter if you want. I will often braid it, and what I do, so I started with 3 strands, obviously I folded it in half, so now I've got 6, and I just form my braid by using 2 strands in each braid string. And then just braid, and it helps to maybe put something down on top of that so that it doesn't move, and then you can just braid. If you're good at macrame, or you know how to do all kinds of knots, feel free to do that. And I would just braid to the end. When I'm trying not to do this for video, I do it a little faster, but and that's all you have to do. And when you get to the end of your braid, you just want to knot it off. You could put like a little a bead or something on the end, or a little bauble of some kind. I choose not to do that most of the time, simply because I don't prefer that on my own bookmarks. But whatever you want to do, or whatever your recipient might like. So as you can see, and then we're just going to give that a little knot. When we get to the end here, I think that's probably long enough. And then all you need to do is just kind of knot it up, and sometimes if you don't leave yourself enough, it can be a little tight. Just push all those through. pin knot.